Okay, in today's session, we'll discuss about SAP Hana deployment scenarios, or we can also call it as SAP Hana solutions, solutions offered by SAP using HANA database. So there are many options available. So one of the most important solution which already we discussed yesterday, a very big way, that is SAP HANA as a data warehousing solution or as a data mart. So which already we discussed. I'm not going to discuss anymore on this. It's a pretty simple solution where we'll consider HANA as a data store. We'll extract the data from different sources into the HANA database and then build models and go for reporting. So that's nothing new, the same thing what we have discussed yesterday. But that's just one of the solution which SAP is offering using HANA. That's not the only one. So coming to the second thing, you need to know about applications. In the first case, we don't have any applications as such running on top of HANA. It's just a standalone HANA database. So that's why we just can call it as native HANA. It's just plain HANA database. But now coming to the applications, when you're speaking about applications, there are two types of applications. One is non-native HANA applications. Second one is native HANA applications. Non-native HANA and native HANA applications. So we'll see. We'll discuss what's the difference between these two. First, let us discuss about these non-native HANA applications. So we have a lot of applications available. So to understand this non-native HANA application concept, first you need to know the basic, the traditional three-tier configurations or three-tier architectures. Say if you want to run any application, application doesn't run on the database. Database is a place where we store the data. You can't run the application. Say example, you want to run SAP ERP. SAP ERP application you want to run, it's not just database. Database can store the data related to this application, but processing, as far as that processing of that application programs is concerned, we need a server there. That we call it as an application server. So it will be like this. You have an application which is running on an application server, and underlying for storing the data and all that, we need database. Consider any application, it's going to be the same. It's nothing different. Take an example, SAP ERP. So if you want to run SAP ERP, we need an application server. SAP ERP is an application. And similarly, you want to run CRM, we need an application server. Same way BW, same way as CM, same way as RM, same way for portal. So in general, SAP applications we can categorize into two. SAP applications can be categorized as web-based applications. The second one is Java-based applications. Two types of applications we have. Web-based and Java-based. Actually, initially, SAP completely relied on web programming for their application development. But once they have realized the limitations we have in web programming, particularly, when it comes to web application development and mobile applications development. So once they realized that limitation, they started looking at Java. One of the most proven for web-based applications and mobile applications. So that's when SAP started using Java for their application development. That was not the case initially. That's why you find some SAP applications are web-based, some of them are Java-based. So application is what basically it's consisting of some programs. You have some screens developed. So basically those programs you need to process. So we need an application server for that. So to run these web-based SAP applications, what SAP has given is they given one application server. So which we are calling it as SAP NetWeaver Application Server App, NWA app. Actually earlier it was Web Application Server App, but later on, from 7.0.0 onwards, came up with this application server, NetWeaver Application Server App. And similarly, any Java-based SAP application you want to run, you need an application server. So what they're offering to you is NWA Java. So some applications runs on ASAP app, some application runs on AS Java. There are some people, unknowingly, they say that applications like ERP they runs with both ASAP app and Java. Some people may feel that BW is running with both ASAP app and Java. That's not actually the case. You take all these applications like ERP, CRM, SEM. All these are examples for web-based applications. They're all web-based applications. And some applications, Java-based applications like, examples like Enterprise Portal. Of late, 7.3 onwards, they even given that process integration is purely Java-based now. Earlier it was combination. The reason why sometimes they say BW needs AS Java, ERP needs AS Java. So they'll say that we did installation with AS Java along with ASL. Actually, as an application, it doesn't need that. Say suppose, say BI 7 onwards, SAP has given a facility to integrate BW with Enterprise Portal. So default integration facility they're given. So if that customer want to develop some reports and publish those reports through portal, Enterprise Portal, obviously when they want to install BW with Enterprise Portal, they need both ASAP app and AS Java. So it doesn't mean that BW needs AS Java. There BW doesn't need AS Java, portal needs AS Java. Similarly, when they're implementing ERP, they may implement ERP with ESS, MSS features, where portal requirement will be there. In such cases, they need AS Java. But the core applications, all these are web-based applications. Your ERP, BWs, and all that. Anyhow, whatever it is, so the bottom line, what you need to understand is these applications are not running on the database directly. They need an application server and they need a database to store the data, to process the data. So we know that all these applications like ERP, CRM, SCM and all that SAP provided to run with the different databases. Whatever the database you prefer to have as a customer, you can opt for that. I want to have ERP with Oracle. I can do it. You want to have ERP with the DB2, you can, like that. So that flexibility is offered. Okay. So now the same applications SAP has introduced with HANA database. The same ERP application we can run with HANA, CRM we can run with HANA, BW we can run with HANA. So it will be like this. Like just if you take an example, application is SAP ERP, application server is NetWeaver ASM app, database is something like Oracle DB2 and all this. But now same SAP ERP, so you can also run with HANA. So but the point what you need to understand here is this application ERP is running an application server app. It's not running within HANA, it's running outside HANA. So all those applications which runs outside HANA database, we call these as non-native HANA applications. That's a simple definition we can give. Applications runs outside HANA database. So we call them as non-native HANA applications. All these are examples, ERP, CRM, SCM and all this. Because you know, in the new versions SAP has given compatibility. Your application servers are having that capability to connect to the HANA database and store the data there also. So those capabilities are given. So those capabilities will be available only in the new versions. As I mentioned, even in general BW, when you're speaking about 7.3 is the minimum requirement if you want to run with HANA. That's a need because only that version of application server is compatible to connect with HANA database. So internally, that kernel will be having the DBSL. DBSL should have the capability to connect to that database. So that they're given in new versions. So all those we can consider as applications running outside HANA database. That's why we call them as non-native HANA. But one thing, they are not supporting Java-based applications with HANA database. They are not going to keep them in the future anymore. But then what are these native HANA applications? So definition you can easily guess, simple thing. Applications that runs within HANA. How is it possible? How we can run an application in the database? As already we clearly mentioning that application you want to run, we need application server. But we are speaking about running application within the database. How is it possible? Same logic is applicable here. This logic. But now, what actually SAP has done is, this was not there at the beginning when SAP came up with HANA, but later on we introduced. Some web applications or mobile apps, even for that matter, you can run on an application server which is called Access Engine, and then database. See, this Access Engine is also part of HANA. So actually these two combined, it's HANA. It's not just only database. Within HANA itself we have the application server also. We can call it as application server in a simple way. A lightweight application server, a small application server, which they have embedded into HANA database. It's not outside, it's within HANA. It's just one service. So on top of this Access Engine, which is part of your HANA database itself, we can develop and run applications, but not heavy applications like ERP, CRMs and all that. Small lighter applications like web applications, mobile apps and all. So as these applications are running within HANA on top of Access Engine, so you have to write within HANA on Access Engine, extended application services. So that's why we call these as native HANA applications. Again, I'm repeating, you can't think about running bulk heavy applications here, small lightweight applications. A lot of applications are available already, developed by SAP, by third-party companies, partners. If you go to SAP HANA Marketplace, you can find those native HANA applications also. And these applications are developed by using JavaScript, HTML5, UI5 you also call it as. And there is actually, from SPS 7 onwards, they introduced one language called RDL, River Definition Language. This is something new, what SAP came up with. So as I mentioned, Access Engine was not there at the beginning. Till SPS 03 it was not there. They've introduced Access Engine only in SPS 04. And that too in SPS 04 they've introduced it as an optional service. But later on, SAP came up with a lot of default web applications which can be used for administration, development, modeling activities. So they are running on Access Engine only. That's why that's a default activated component. It's not like an optional one. Okay. So these are the basically two types of applications. Actually, recently, another thing is also popular. You can also mention that, but maybe you can show it separately. It doesn't matter. They're also applications only. Applications for SAP HANA. You're saying applications on HANA, applications running within HANA, but these are all applications for HANA. The difference is these are all like your non-native HANA applications only, but they run only with HANA database. It doesn't run. Applications runs only with HANA DB. It does not support any RDBMS. This is something new, actually. What's going on now? The latest. So this is what is going to be the future. In the future, you find any SAP application running only with HANA database. They don't support SAP applications with RDBMS anymore. So example, SAP S/4HANA, SAP BW for HANA like this. Actually, there is a lot of confusion in the people understanding these things. A lot of confusion is there. People are having doubts like when you have applications running on HANA database like ERP on HANA, CRM on HANA, means the total business suite solutions on HANA or BW on HANA. When you have applications on HANA, why you need this? But as we are clearly stating that these applications exclusively runs with HANA. No possibility. If you take an example, this ERP which we were discussing about earlier, this ERP application running on HANA database, ERP on HANA, that also runs with the Oracle database or DB2 database. Okay, so but these S/4HANA, BW for HANA, they don't run with RDBMS. They can run only with HANA database. The reason is there why SAP has done it. It's a very big reason actually. When SAP was thinking about running these applications, ERP, CRM, BW, all this with HANA database, the biggest question or biggest the point they need to think about or they need to they were discussing about is these applications like ERP you take which was developed way back almost 30-35 years back. Similarly BW, similarly CRM, these all applications were developed way back. But those applications were developed considering the fact that the data is stored in the RDBMS. So they know that fact that the data is stored in the RDBMS. That's why accordingly they've designed those applications, designed and developed those applications. Now imagine those applications which were developed for RDBMS. Now you're running those same applications as it is with HANA database. What's the meaning of that? The meaning of that is you're not utilizing the full-fledged potential capabilities of that in-memory database called HANA. You won't be you won't be able to do it. All the capabilities you won't be able to utilize if you try to run those old applications on top of this database as it is. But when they can utilize the full-fledged potential capabilities of HANA, only can if they can develop some new applications exclusively which can run with HANA database, or they can customize the existing applications to run with only with HANA database. So developing something new from the scratch is ruled out because these are the applications which they are using for ages. Obviously some customization is needed. So if they can do that customization according to that HANA database requirements, automatically these applications will be simplified. Automatically. No one need to do that intentionally. So those see now this statement I am changing slightly. I am enhancing it. Customized and obviously they are simplified SAP applications that runs only with HANA database. Now you can call them as applications for HANA, like S for HANA, VW for HANA. So that's how the term simplified is used there. This S for HANA, it's not S for HANA, S for VW for. They are for HANA. Means S for means Business Suite 4 for HANA, Business Suite 4. Because earlier we used that R3, right? Now that's what they termed it as S for Business Suite 4 for HANA. As that terminology is already used for that, they want to use for BW. Actually, this BW version was BW 7.5 HANA edition. Now that they renamed as BW for HANA. They want to have that uniformity. So people will have a doubt. I mean, generally when we use the term customized and simplified, what do you mean by that, customized, simplified? So even if they are running ERP and HANA also, some, we recommend the customers to, when they are writing ABAP programming, we recommend the customers to follow some optimization techniques. So if they can utilize that optimization techniques, they can improve the performances. So whenever they write ABAP programming on top of HANA, it's better to implement those optimization techniques. We are not asking them to change the ABAP programming. The techniques they need to implement need to be changed. Like, earlier if you have data intensive processing, all that processing or calculations we used to do in the application layer. But now it's highly recommended to do the data intensive calculations and processing at the database level itself. You need to push down those calculations to the database level. So because your database is so efficient, the high performances you experience. But what do you mean by customization? That's okay, that's optimization. Customizing means what? That definitely will take time. I mean, that's why initially SAP has released ERP and HANA. Now, recently they've released hardly 1.5 years, 2 years back, they've released S for HANA. Why? Because it will take time. I mean, you can't do these customizations and all that overnight. And if you don't customize, you won't be able to utilize all the features of HANA. So what is that customization they did? A couple of small examples I'll give you. A very simple example I'll give you first of all. You take a finance module in SAP ERP. In SAP ERP finance module, if you take a lot of aggregated tables will be there. Lot of tables where they store aggregated data. Means whenever you perform your transaction, these tables will not be updated directly. That won't happen. Big numbers. Say out of 100 tables, 60 tables are like that, which won't be updated directly. Only aggregated information they'll store. But this is the conflicting thing. If you're running ERP with Oracle database, DB2 database, like you're running ERP with RDBMS, definitely it makes some sense to store that aggregated data in separate tables. Fine, accepted. They won't have better performances. But the same as it is if you try to run with HANA database, it doesn't make any sense. Reason is, HANA database, the core functionality of HANA database, if you take the basic core functionalities, if you see, in HANA database, aggregated data storage is not done at all. Otherwise, you take the statement like this. In HANA database, there is no aggregated data storage. Clearly, that's a basic functionality. Reason is, these aggregations needed will be calculated dynamically on the fly. So no concept of storing aggregated data. So isn't it conflict? So we are saying that a lot of tables in finance module are aggregated tables. Because of this reason is we are storing the data in RDBMS, but now the same application if you try to run as it is with HANA database. Still in the HANA database also you are storing the aggregated data in a table, which is unnecessary completely, because HANA database is having capability of doing those calculations dynamically on the fly in a flash. So that's what now the customization is all about. What they're doing when they're coming up with these simplified SAP applications. On what basis they are simplifying, how they are simplifying, based on this fact. Now those aggregated tables, out of 100 tables, 60 tables are aggregated tables. We don't need them, eliminate. Imagine out of 100 tables, 60 tables you can eliminate, how drastically the size will come down. Huge way. But the problem is, if you just remove the tables, your application collapses. Immediately application will collapse. Application doesn't run. That's why to work it out effectively, what SAP has done is they have replaced those aggregated tables with views. If I'm writing a SQL statement, a select statement on a table or a view, the same statement will work. But you know, view doesn't store the data, whereas table stores the data. That's the difference. So they've replaced those aggregated tables with the views, where on the fly dynamically calculations will be done, the data will be presented. And that way your size of this database comes down drastically. You know, you take a 1000 GB database for SAP ERP running with Oracle. If you just simply migrate it to HANA, that is ERP and HANA, it comes down to 500 GB. But if you can simplify that by going with S4 HANA, it will come down to 50 GB. So much of simplification will be done. And similarly, you know, because of the specialized storages we have in HANA, they don't use indexes concept. Because in HANA, each column will act as an index. We don't need secondary indexes and all that. So that saves a lot of space. All these reasons. So that they have done in this simplified solutions, what SAP is releasing now. That's one of the reasons why they use that word simplified. And apart from that, you know, coming to the presentation part also, When you want to present your applications to the end users, traditionally we follow that SAP GUI. We use the transaction course. How difficult is that to work with SAP GUI? See, when there is no other option, okay, people will accept it. But the difficulty, the complication we have is very, very high. If you are a person training the end users, you'll understand the problems. How difficult is that? I'm not speaking about technical people, business end users. And moreover, I'm able to access that SAP GUI on the desktop. Suppose I want to open the same transaction in the browser, it won't work. Then you need to think about something else, WebDin Pro, ABAP WebDin Pro applications. Then I want to access the same through mobile and do some transactions from there, not possible. Then I need to think about SAP Mobile. So many things. And moreover, whenever a user gets, suppose there is a manager who need to approve an order. The manager role is very little and he should get little information, but there will be 100 fields will be there, which is completely unnecessary for him. And before approving, maybe you want to check the credit limit check for a customer. Some report is needed. Again, you need to go to some other screen, some other transaction, maybe some other application. All that is very complicated working environment. But now that presentation part also they've simplified. That you call it as user experience. The UX is completely changed. Now that user experience what SAP is offering to the customers is very simplified, beautiful user experiences they are giving using something called SAP Fiori. So SAP Fiori comes only at the presentation part. So that's only for the user experience. The presentations will be done by using Fiori. Beautiful screens will be there, and the advantage of using that Fiori is same whatever you're presenting to the user, you can access it from a desktop, you can access it from any handheld device, maybe a mobile, maybe a tab, anything. You can access it from the browsers also, anywhere, so easily. No need of separate developments and designs for that. That much of simplification they've done. And moreover, now it's all role-based menus. If you are a manager, you'll get only the manager related options. That's it. The screen also will be very simple. Only related fields will be displayed. There itself you will get your reports. Same place. You do transactions, OLTP, you do reporting, OLAP. Fact sheets will be available there itself. Such a simplification they did. The presentation part also they're taken care. And those are all applications customized and simplified to run only with HANA database. That's the future. That is going to be the future. So already you see there's a lot of noise about this S4 HANA, BW for HANA. But anyhow, there's all, particularly S4 HANA, even though they use that word Business Suite for HANA. Business Suite includes everything, ERP, CRM, SEM, all that. But as of now, only ERP they started that with a couple of few modules. They've given simple logistics, simple finance. Now I think retailing also they've introduced. So they had to do a lot more work on that. It will take time. You can't expect all this happening overnight. Now BW for HANA also, they've simplified it so much. And they're not going to use SAP GUI. Modeling, they do it by using Eclipse, as I mentioned earlier. And even administrations also will be doing with the browsers, not with SAP GUIs anymore. So these are all the things what's happening now latest. Okay, so those are the things as far as applications is concerned. But at some point SAP also initially the beginning SAP also used HANA as an accelerator. Not so popular now, but because people are migrating to HANA directly. HANA is an accelerator. Let me just copy this. See, you just take a small example. Suppose you're running SAP ERP with RDBMS like Oracle SQL database. Within this ERP itself, there is something called COPA reporting. You might have heard about it, FICO. CO stands for controlling. In that, PA is profitability analysis. So they do COPA reporting, they execute COPA reports on top of this ERP application. So whenever they execute that COPA report, it has to read the data from underlying database through this application server. It has to present the data. So because of the number of tables it accesses, because of the volume of data, the performance of this COPA reporting is always very, very, very low. And earlier we used to suggest the customer, okay, go with BW. In BW, you have specialized designed models and load this COPA data there and use those models and go for reporting. Definitely you'll experience a better performance. That was a suggestion we used to give earlier. But now with the evolution of HANA, there's also a facility given by SAP. You can use HANA as an accelerator to improve the performance of these situations. How it can be done. So what we do is we set up the HANA database as is shown here. So here is the HANA database. And from this SAP application, we load the data, but only COPA data into the HANA database using some replication technologies like SLT, because that happens in real time. But you may have a doubt, how do you know it's only COPA data? COPA data, basically reporting is done based on some set of tables. Only those tables they replicate into HANA. That's it. Because here they're having the problem only with the COPA reporting. Everything else is good and fine for them. That's why they're not thinking about other things. Then, as part of this accelerator implementation, SAP has given a facility for you. Simple configuration document will be given, using which we can establish connection between this ERP and the HANA database. Actually, between ERP and RDBMS, there is already a connection, which we call it as a primary DB connection, whereas this we can consider as a secondary database connection. So once you do those configuration settings given to you in COPA Accelerator, then we can execute this COPA report. The same report, we won't develop anything new. The same report you execute, request comes to your ERP, but actually it will fetch the data from HANA database instead of fetching the data from RDBMS. So this will be lightning fast, the performances will be relatively very, very high. And that way, they're improving the performance of this COPA reporting. That they named it as accelerator. But anyhow, now when people are migrating to HANA completely, everything, all the performances will be increased. We don't need accelerators anymore if they are migrating total application itself to the HANA database. So it's up to the customer, but there's an option they have. So they can think about it as an option. Because relatively the cost will be low, because just a small HANA database, no separate development activities they are doing. Okay. Migrations, if they're doing, so the total application you are migrating, obviously everything performance goes up. Or else another option, the first option, use HANA as a warehousing. You replicate this data into HANA, then build models, then reports, and then analyze it. That's also an option. So that's accelerator stuff. And other day I explained about smart data access functionality, dynamic tiering. So SAP HANA in big data solutions landscapes. So we won't say HANA itself is providing solution, but it's part of your big data solutions landscape, which like you can use dynamic tiering, you can use smart data access functionalities, which I already explained you. When you are implementing BW and HANA, is a facility for you to implement multi-temperature data management architectures. That's one of them. So these are different things, different solutions. We don't know what we are going to come across. We can come across anything in the company, in the customer's landscape. We don't know what we are going to come across. So as an administrator, you should know these things. Whatever may be the deployment scenario, there will be a HANA database. As far as HANA database is concerned, you are the administrator. You need to take care of the administration of that HANA. That's your job. But depending on what's running on top of that, what solution is that, sometimes your monitoring activities, your configurations will be definitely affected. So that you need to think about. Okay. So is that clear? Any doubts you have?